Hi, I'm Tori.
And I'm Leah.
And I'm Aram.
Welcome back to the Boys Lie
a
podcast.
podcast where we talk about the craziest relationship stories you've ever heard, pop culture, and the piping hot tea of our lives.
So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and remember that Boys Lie.
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie, y'all.
Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.
Yes, you are seeing us in the same outfits from last week. Hello. We
Hello.
haven't changed.
No.
It's fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
We look cute.
At the fact that we're just like recording back to back to back, I'd love to jump into story time right away.
Mhm.
Yes.
These stories are also a little bit longer today. And if you guys have a story you'd like to share on the Boys Lie podcast, please share them via boyslieofficial.com under podcast. If your story gets selected for an anonymous read, on the Boys Lie podcast, you get a free Boys Lie sweatsuit.
Better yet, if you did want to send us a voice note, we are still accepting those.
And for other announcements, we are doing a February giveaway where you can win the entire Boys Lie February collection, including one of our collaboration pieces, there's two of them, with Pop-Up Bagels. So I'm very excited about that. Go check it out on our Instagram page. It's all very exciting news and announcements. And the last announcement is we are doing a vlog for every Sunday. I'm not going to give a specific time as to what time on Sunday it's going to be posted.
But it will be on Sunday.
It'll be on Sunday. So just if you have nothing to do on Sunday, go check out our YouTube page. You can even watch other videos while you're waiting for the new vlog to come up.
Maybe we can make a promise, like it will always be up before like 9 p.m. Eastern time.
I'm on a Sunday. I'm not promising that, but it will be up.
Before Monday hits.
Correct.
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
All right, who wants to
Since last week, since it went him, me,
I'll go
you, do
first.
you want to
start?
go?
Backwards.
Okay.
Okay. So about 2 years ago, I was hired to work for a cruise line in Europe. Companies shall remain nameless, but I was a performer, and COVID had hit New York City, so the timing was right for me to leave and sail sail the wonders of the sea.
Wow, yacht week.
Well, that is the name of a cruise.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
Not long after being on the boat, many men approached me, and we had
Okay, hottie.
the gamut of players, already married men, husbands from different countries that had family back at home whose wives didn't know that they would cheat on them, men with multiple wives, and your good old liars and cheaters. Pretty early on, one of my cast members, he who must not be named, slid into my DMs asking if I needed any help learning my lines or anything at all while I got accustomed to the ship, and that he said that he would help me. Now, I was a performer on the ship, so dating amongst the cast was pretty common. And since she was new, she had no idea that this person, he who shall not be named, had already been attached to someone, ironically, the girl I was hired to replace. Long story short, we became good friends, and 6 months go by. They break up, and lo and behold, we begin dating 2 months later. Now, what I didn't know was that this was common for him. In fact, I was the third girl that he had preyed on since we were considered quote-unquote fresh bait. And this was the second time that he had dumped someone for someone new, but I digress. We spent about 6 months dating and everything is perfect. We're spending time together on and off the ship, and he's telling me I'm the one and he's never felt this way about anyone, blah, blah, blah. Almost a year into our friendship, while still on the ship, I notice him being more absent at times, hanging out with some new people, sleeping with his phone under his bed, and I begin to see a new girl in all of these similar places. Coincidence? I think not. In fact, I suddenly see how this was me a mere year ago, but I think, hey, we are good and solid in our relationship, and he still comes home and sleeps with me in the same bed every night, so nothing could be wrong. Except now I start to notice this girl's name's popping up on his phone a lot, so I question him. Who is this girl? Let's call her Mo. He goes on, oh, that's no one. It's a new girl on the ship, but I met at someone's birthday party, and we have a similar taste in music. You see, I'm a singer, so I didn't go to many parties at night, so I could sleep and rest my voice. So whenever something like this was weird, he always mentioned it happened to be at a party. Sure. A few weeks go by and I start to notice some other weird things. He's watching a movie with a few friends that I'm not invited to, or having game nights in his room with these new friends, and I begin to wonder. He had a lot of trouble making friends, and I didn't at all. So him trying to branch out I figured was normal, and I'm not a jealous person, so I didn't mind at first. Mo had a shared room with another girl, and one night came banging on his door to stay with him because she had been sexiled. What is...
Oh, that means like if you're with a roommate and the roommate's having sex with somebody. Like you're kind of exiled, but like sexiled.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting
New
verbiage. Term. Yeah. And she knew that he had an extra bed since he was always staying with me. I wasn't happy about it at first, but he assured me that it was nothing and she just needed a place to stay. A few days go by and I notice more and more texts from her on his phone. And one night, as we were watching a movie in bed, I look over and see her text, "I can't stop smelling your pajamas. They smell like you and I love it." To which he replied, "Really? Aw," smiley face emoji.
Why does she need somewhere to stay? She's on a cruise, and doesn't she have her own room? She's
Well, I
just
know
like
she
a
was
hobo on a
exiled
cruise.
because her
Oh,
roommate's
right,
like,
right,
Her
right,
roommate's
right.
banging some dude,
Well, I'd
and
be
she's
like,
got a place to. She's got no other place to go.
Damn.
Well, ladies, I sprung up out of bed like that 90s game, Don't Wake Daddy, and immediately screamed, why
What?
did she just text you that, and what does it mean?
That's a niche reference. I don't know.
Yeah, very niche. He was like, whoa, what's wrong? Calm down. When she stayed the night 2 nights ago, I gave her clothes to borrow. It's nothing. I guess she just likes the way they smelled. Super weird to say, and that's what I responded. And then proceeded to question him some more about her, who she was, why I'm not allowed to know her or be introduced to her, and then sadly asked if there was anything going on, and he proceeded to beg me to stop and said no. I told him at that point, 4 weeks now, this was shady, and I wasn't sure if anything he was saying was adding up, so I said we need to take a break, and I asked him to please stop talking to her. It was so unfair and disrespectful as a man with a girlfriend. I kept trying to set boundaries, and he was just tearing them down. But in this moment, I really just needed time away from him to gather my thoughts and really process what was going on and going down and truly knowing if I was okay with it. Now, unfortunately, because we were working together on the ship, I couldn't avoid him as much as I wanted to because we were in shows together and had to continue to work together. Did I mention our rooms were adjacent to each other, something we had planned 6 months earlier since every performer got their own room, so we all shared a wall. This is important for later, I promise. So 5 days go by and I barely see him, talk to him, acknowledge him, and the whole 9 yards. I'm doing my thing and hanging out with other people, processing what happened when he comes to my room to take back something he had left and asks if we can talk. We sit there and he says really nothing to help his case, and I'm unsure in the moment as to say I appreciate it but still need some time. Now here's where it gets real good. I take a shower around 11:30 p.m. that night, and as I'm exiting the shower, I hear a knock on the door. Big old eye rolls come back from a big old eye roll comes from me in my bathrobe, and literally my brain's going, ugh, what does he want now? Only to open the door to find a gift outside with a card with my name on it. Another eye roll, I think. He can't buy back my love. Are you kidding? And oh gosh, I mean,
No, but like I love a good gift.
I grab the bag and walk into my room, pull out the card, and realize it's from Mo, with the girl I'm confused about him being quote unquote friends with. Wait a minute, I think. Why is she giving me a gift? It was a nice card that read, I'm so sorry about everything. And if you ever need to talk about it, I'm here for you. Girls have to stick together. Sorry for me? What is she talking about? I then go to my phone and see I have a message from her on Instagram. I've never spoken to her, but it was a request, so I open it. It says something along the lines of, hi, I just wanted to reach out because I wanted you to know I never knew about you. In fact, I didn't know that he was seeing someone. He never mentioned it. And the more time I spent here, I realized it was on purpose. I saw you two get off the boat together and asked someone who you were, and when they said that you were his girlfriend, I immediately froze. I told my friend that he's been texting me and asking me to hang out, and she was like, no, girl, that's his girlfriend, and that's when I confronted him. I told him that this wasn't okay. He couldn't be messaging me anymore, and we had to stop, so I apologized, and if you want to know anything, I'm here for you. And you can message me anytime and we can talk. But girl to girl, your man is not 100% being honest with you. And I needed to tell you, XO Mo. The steam was coming out of my ears. It was hot, ladies. I finally fucking knew it. At this point, it is midnight and I'm thinking, do I talk to her tomorrow, get coffee with her? Okay, yes, maybe. However, working on the cruise in tight quarters, news spreads like wildfire. So I figured that I couldn't do it or be seen with her in public on or off the ship. People would know and he would find out. I immediately call my best friend at home and she goes, oh my God, tell her to come over right now. It's midnight. No one will see her enter your room and you can find out all the tea while it's piping hot. Great idea, I say, hang up with her, and I message Mo back.
The plot is thickening here. I'm
like
into this
this.
story.
Mo appears at my door no more than 5 minutes later, and I am braless, wet hair in my bathrobe, inviting this girl.
Thank you for those details.
Yeah.
She's really painting the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inviting this girl that I kind of wanted to murder an hour ago to come into my room to hang out. Well, I'm so glad that I did. We talked for 3 hours and she told me everything. Turns out I was right all along. He came on to her. She didn't know about me. When she confronted him, he mentioned that we were on a break. So it was okay for them to come out and he needed someone to be with. So if she could come hang out, he made sure to tell her to be quiet when she comes in because other people in our hallway were sleeping. And she goes, I now realize that's because you live next door.
Got it. That makes
Oh.
sense. So she thought that they were on a break. So she's like, okay, I can be with him now. I don't know this girl.
I kind of do feel like though, if a guy ever says they're on a break with a girl, that you don't get involved.
I know, but like, and I agree, but like now it makes more
Yeah.
sense why she was
No, I
thinking
get
about
it.
this. She also probably didn't want her to see her
I get
sneaking
it.
into his room. I get it.
I was fuming at all of this, sharing a wall like, are you kidding me? You fucking lying creep. She had screenshots of messages and texts that he had sent her that he had later gone in and deleted.
Mo had screenshots.
Yeah, Mo had screenshots.
Yeah.
Oh, and he deleted those screenshots off her phone. And she said, she was like, I made sure to screenshot these because once I confronted him, he went back into my phone and deleted all these messages. She was a true girl's girl in that moment. And we cried and laughed. And she was like, I say, we John Tucker must die, this asshole, so he gets neither of us in the end. And that's exactly what we did. She told him the next day that she was done with him with no mention of me or the night before. And I decided on my 6th day of silence to go rip him a new asshole. I waited until 3 p.m. and heard his door shut, and so I decided to go over there and finally lay my cards out on the table. I knocked, he let me in, and he asked how my few days had been, never mentioning her or anything. I mentioned it was good. I had done a lot of thinking and wanted to talk. He said, oh, I'm so glad, me too. I've decided I really love you and I want to be with you, and so I'm willing to work on things. Meanwhile, he just got broken up with from his other girlfriend.
Convenient.
And I looked at him dead ass and was like, do you have anything else you want to talk about? And he shook his head and goes, no, I think you know all that there is to know, and I want to start fresh. And I responded with, well, I'm not sure if that's possible. See, last night I had a knock on my door, and guess who it was? He's looking at me all content and goes, I don't know who. And I go, oh, your new friend Mo that I had been questioning you about. And then I ripped him apart and I told him everything, the bullshit lies about hanging out with a group of people when it was really only her and him, the texts that quote unquote weren't a big deal, and the sleepovers telling her to quote unquote be quiet. The few times that they had hung out, that he had never mentioned me, etc., and I was done. I spent 45 minutes ripping him a new asshole, and he tried to deny it at first, and I laughed and I said, I have the text, like, don't even try me, and it was all so very wild. He still denies it to this day, and he's never come clean. What a moron. So 2 months later, our contract is done. I go back to New York, and I think to myself, wow, if he ever did this to me and was going to do it to this next girl, I wonder how the girl before me feels, because I never intended for this or anything like this to happen. I was not going to be a homewrecker, and I simply had no clue about his maniacal plans. I get her number from a friend and ask if I can call. We have a 4-hour conversation. Turns out he was doing the same shit to her that he did to me with Mo. And once I explained myself, she realized that he had done the same exact thing to the girl before her.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't to blame. He had come after me. He had come after me, and it was tale as old as time. Her and I are now friends and have hung out multiple times in the city and are completely normal. The gag of this all is that I haven't seen this man in a very long time, and he still is aboard the cruise line.
Okay, loser.
That is such a typical man. But I received a call from him yesterday telling me that he loved me and missed me, only to find out from Instagram he's already talking and seeing another girl just like Mo. I laughed, called him out on it, and he had nothing to say. 5th time's the charm, I guess. I told him he was a sad, lonely piece of shit, not to mention a huge dick and a liar and a cheater, and needed some serious help. And then I said, I have nothing else to say. Goodbye, and hung up the phone. Men are such assholes, but he by far is the biggest one I've ever encountered, and I hope that he ends up alone and realizing how many people he's hurt along the way. As for me, I was going to be just fine. I have an amazing group of friends, family, and I'm going into 2025 without him, and that's the best present that God could have ever given me.
Well, I love the girls, alliance
Yeah, I
here,
love
of course.
especially on the cruise ship. Like,
yeah,
you guys are a bunch of pirate queens.
You handled
For
this
sure.
really well.
But like, if this whole singing thing doesn't work out for you, like honestly, you could become a writer. That was so well written.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah,
a
you ate
novel,
that.
and like honestly, it kept me on my toes.
I had visuals in my mind.
Same. I'm just like imagining him as like such a fucking circus freak looking dude. Like he's like a singer.
Main stage.
Main stage, like obsessed. Like he probably thinks he's so good at like singing. And
I'm
stuff.
also sorry because it was a long story, so I struggled reading. And
No,
I
it's
butchered
good. It was a
few
really
times.
good story.
His Spotify Wrapped is probably like Hamilton.
Yeah, 100%.
The subject line of this is, aye, ladies, hang on to your peg legs for this one.
Oh my God.
That was good. Okay, yeah, you're finding
was-
comedic humor in it.
Yeah,
all.
and you
I
know
love
what?
that.
Also, like I love that you took the time to like seriously write out those details are so important, and it really like it makes you imagine it in your head. Like it was like a movie to me. Like the whole
I have
thing.
visuals.
I have like I feel like I know what her room looks like. I can see her coming out of the shower, looking at a gift on the ground.
Yeah, I
Like,
will
Uh-huh.
say sometimes we don't get the visual picture, and it's really hard with the short stories to find like relatability because you don't really know the full details, but that was really well laid out.
Good job, girl. And happy you handled it the way you did. And you guys are still friends. You're still friends with that girl. And fuck him.
it's crazy though. Like how do guys like how? It's almost impressive, like juggling so many girls like all the time. Like how do you do that? Like I would never be able to
How
do
do you
that.
have the time?
How do you
I
have the
can't even
time?
juggle like my own friends.
I'm also really proud of your courage and your self-worth values because you hold yourself clearly to a really high standard, and I look up to that a lot. When I was younger, I did not do the same, and
Me either.
I wish I had you as a girl's girl around to
Same. And I was like,
Knock
oh my
some
God,
sense
when
into
they were
me.
like, let's John Tucker him and like that we did. I was like, oh, I was like really hoping that like it like one of the girls wasn't gonna like like not do it. You know, like I'm happy that they both kept up with their promise to each other, even though the girl who wrote this in was obviously so annoyed and hurt by her at first. Like it really does show like most people hopefully are human, and like she didn't mean to hurt you. She just like was just like you were, and she was blindsided, and it's good that you guys can come together and like figure that out. More people should do that. More people should learn from that.
Agreed.
The girls banding together is like my favorite fucking thing. I think it's so important and it needs to happen more often.
Like it also is like instant reaction to like want to hate the girl, obviously, because it's like she's taking your territory, you know, like, and that's your man, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, but it's so easy for your brain to kind of like default and like go there and want to like hate that person because it's just like they're stomping on what's yours.
But it's not all the blame on them.
I also love how you express it as like this girl you were mad at an hour ago who left this gift. You invite her over and you're just you're very like raw.
Yeah. And I'm happy that she also went.
Yeah. And I'm happy that she went. I'm happy. Also, that's a great way too, in regards to like not being a confrontational person, to confront someone, whether you send them a DM or like drop off like a I'm really sorry type of note. It's really genuine.
The truth will set you free.
But first, it'll piss you off.
All right, here's the next story. I just moved to the city of Chicago at the ripe age of 24 to start the next chapter of my life in the city that I always wanted to live in. Congrats. At the time I was single, moving from a small Indiana town to apply to law school in Chicago. I got a job at LA Tan since it was something easy and would have helped me get my start in the city. While I was working, getting on my feet, I was staying with my cousin Jay until I solidified on a place that I loved. While living with my cousin, we grew closer than ever as I saw what his life was like beyond the family dining room table at Aunt Chris's during Thanksgiving.
Oh God, how close are the cousins?
I don't know yet.
Oh God.
We went to all the gay bars. I met his friends. So not.
Okay.
Perfect.
God, there you go. There's the answer.
Okay, so maybe they're close.
Yeah,
I love that.
They're probably besties
I
now.
vibe with that. I fuck with that.
Love.
We went to all the gay bars. I met his friend group, learned he did cocaine seldomly on the weekends, and lived this carefree life while making something of himself in Chicago. The cocaine was a shock to me because I had never imagined him doing drugs, but it's always the ones that you least expect. I didn't care, but I was intrigued about the little life he established. I asked him who he gets his drugs from and if they are safe. He reassured me that he was safe and he gets his drugs from a guy named Joey, who was an important character in this whole story.
Cocaine.
Keep in mind, I have not met Joey.
Okay.
I start my new job at LA Tan, where I meet my future best friend, Zoe. Zoe graduated law school, so we naturally bonded over that. Later, I learned that we had quite literally the same life, which bonded us even further. Mom and dad were medical personnel, siblings through IVF. What? Oh. Mom and dad were medical personnel. I'm thinking she says like, my siblings are through IVF? She graduated, I think.
Well, that would be weird if her parents were siblings that were IVF siblings.
But it like in the sense like right after each other, it does come.
Yeah, it sounded like that for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, so they have siblings through IVF. She graduated law school, and I was trying to get into law school. She moved to Chicago from a small town, and so did I. As time went on, we became closer, and the friendship grew. I told her about Jay and the Gays, which is the silly little nickname Zoe gave Jay and I's friend group instead of naming off every person in the group. Anyways, Joey got brought up in this conversation. She says, no way, Joey's my drug dealer, and the guy that I'm messing with is his drug dealer too.
Her gay cousin gets his drugs from Joey. Her best friend that she just met at LA Tans is dating a guy who also gets his drugs from Joey.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Now that makes
that
a
was
lot more
confusing.
sense.
That makes sense.
Joey's just the dealer.
We all hang out all the time, and I'm pretty sure, or she says, we all hang out all the time, and I'm pretty sure he has a girlfriend. Small world. I wanted Zoe to meet my cousin and his friends, so we went out to a gay club in Chicago together. We get to the bar, and at the end of the night, we are minding our business when the man of the hour, Joey, shows up. Not what I pictured him to be. He is short, has a heavier set, and is older, but I noticed that he can dress and has expensive taste in jewelry. What did I even imagine a drug dealer to look like? I couldn't tell you. But I am skeptical about Joey just because he sells my cousin drugs, and I'm the protective little cousin. He shakes my hand, and I don't pay him any mind, thinking he is here for business and that he has a girlfriend. So he offers me a drink, and I decline. He hangs around me, making conversation, and asks if he can put my number in his phone in case I need anything. I agreed, and he texted himself so he could save my number without Jay looking, and he disappeared into the night after handing my cousin his drugs. Fast forward months later, Zoe and I found out that he didn't have a girlfriend, and he was actually into me, but he was so not my type, but I still figured, why not? Let's do it for the plot, right?
So she starts dating the drug dealer,
Mhm.
Joey.
We go on dates. He buys me flowers, pays for all of my meals, waits for me at my front door so he can escort me to the car, all the charming things I like, but I never received until I started dating him. I learned he is 37, and for reference, I'm 24 at the time. He has no kids, and he has never been engaged or married, or so I thought. I think I'm starting to fall for this guy, but at the same time, I'm like, what the actual fuck? And I did end up falling for him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Things continued to progress, but before I knew it, we were almost a year in, and he's calling me his girlfriend. And meanwhile, my cousin has no clue, but Zoe, my best friend, is cheering us on. Things get pretty serious, and I notice I'm starting to cramp on one side of my uterus, and my period is late. I took a pregnancy test, and yup, it's positive. My whole world shut down, and I thought my life was over, and law school would be no more. I immediately go into survival mode, and I promise myself I'm going to tell no one until the abortion is over with. Zoe knew something was wrong because I all of a sudden grew distant. So she hunted me down and asked me what was going on. Everything in me could not lie to her, so I told her. She was the sound of reason and support that I needed in that moment and told me, in fact, my life is not over and I do have a choice. So she encouraged me to tell my mom. I told my mom over dinner, and she was the most supportive being in the situation, and she also supports me in whatever I do. So now that I exit survival mode and realize that I had support from my family and friends, I told Joey that I want to make another decision and would like to think about what I want to do. He freaked out and questioned why all of a sudden I was switching up on him. Come to realize, he admits that he made a deal with the devil years ago and had to legally marry a girl for him to get ahead in his business. So he told me if I go through with this, as in like have the kid, his head is on the line and he cannot have that happen. Yet he told me he's never been married or engaged. My whole world comes to a screeching halt. I felt like I was forced to make a decision that I was not ready to make for the sake of him. Obviously, there is more to the story, but the main takeaway here is that boys fucking lie.
A little confused.
So I think that like she had like the support system. She was talking with her mom and she was talking with her friend, and she decided like, maybe I don't want to get an abortion. Maybe I want to keep it. But he was like, no, you need to get an abortion because I made a deal with the devil and I'm married. You can't have a kid. So I think
he was
she's
saying like, I'm not going to support this decision because you originally were going to get rid of the child.
and like threatening her because his
Who's
head
gonna
his
come
head is
after
on
him?
She
No,
said
I think that that's just a
I
bullshit
think he's
lie.
just yeah
I think he clearly
it's
doesn't
a
wanna have
lie,
kid.
but like so
Okay.
it sounds like she ended up having the abortion because he like threatened her, even though she wasn't necessarily. That is like,
I mean, it's your decision. Your decision.
it's your
only.
decision. That just like breaks, that like honestly breaks my heart because like I feel for you so much, and the fact that like it's like some type of pain that you'll have to live with. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. I just like want to make this clear. Like it's anyone listening, like it's your body. Do not let anybody talk you into doing anything that you don't want to do. Like you have to make that choice yourself. And I feel really, really bad that you were like
abandoned.
Yeah.
in such a
abandoned and like
position
bullied into
that-
like making a decision that's a huge
Well,
decision.
Life
Here's the
altering
thing too,
decision.
like I think it's more the abandonment because I think clearly like if she was going to have the baby, she wanted his support, and the fact that he was like, I don't support this, it put her in a corner where she
Yeah.
envisioned bringing a child into the life with like partnership, and without that then she couldn't have that as well. But I think in general what I'm trying to say is like I think she expected partnership in
Yeah.
having
Yeah,
a kid,
in some regard.
and even if she didn't have it, I think she still like he's clearly an asshole and you deserve so much more than that. And I think this is such an important topic of conversation that we don't touch on enough because you do have a choice. It is your body, and if
Yeah.
you are willing to be a single mom for that child, I bet you would have been the best mom, and that doesn't mean you can't be the greatest mom in the future, and you will
Yeah.
have a partner that will support you.
You only you know what's right for you, and I want to like fucking kill this guy that he made you feel that you couldn't have your choice.
Also
Yeah.
think it's so important because there are so many women that don't speak about this in general because it's such an intimate piece of anybody's life if they do go through this. And I do feel really strongly, again, as women, it's you get such shame for it.
And there shouldn't be any shame around that at all.
That's why people don't talk about it, because when women talk about it, they get fucking shamed for
Or
it.
they're like
Yeah.
pressured to be in, like this woman pressured to have a certain opinion about it, or like, oh, what if I change my mind? They end up getting like tormented over it. Your choice is, again, your choice. It's your body. And I know that from what I know about this story, it seemed like you wanted partnership, and I do think that you will be a great mom one day, and I do
For
think you will
sure.
find the right
100%.
partner. And you will have the perfect home that you'll raise a kid in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this opportunity isn't like a one-time
No.
opportunity.
No, and he wasn't the right
Partner
partner
fit anyways.
for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a really good support system, it seems like. And I feel like lean on them during this time. Like, don't hold in any type of emotions that you're feeling about this. It's like a really hard thing and traumatic thing that you went through. So, like, don't feel like try to lean on the people that love you and that
Don't
are
carry
willing to.
it silently. Like, it's not a burden that you need to carry quietly or anything like that.
And
Continue
you don't
to
need to
share.
get over it quickly either. Grieve it like as much as you need to do. Don't try to just move on from it.
Love you the most.
Okay, last story. I dated a man for 3.5 years. He used to be friends with my ex-husband and knew that I had been cheated on before. We had the happiest relationship and did everything right, took it slow at first, then became a normal couple with future goals and dreams. We moved in after 1.5 years, had dogs together, integrated into our families. We took 2 trips together, including 3 large ones that I paid mostly for and a couple smaller ones that I paid for as well. Okay. I helped build him a business that was becoming successful. In the last half of 2023, I officiated his daughter's wedding, which this is a big trip that I paid for. He also bought me a horse, for our anniversary. In the last 2 months of 2023, I was called grandma of his grandchildren, who I'd spent time with and always joined in FaceTime calls for. This woman is older.
I kind of love these stories because they come with such experience of just relationships in general.
He also called me your stepmother to his stepson on the phone. Okay. During this time, he was also saying I love you less, but I say it a lot due to past trauma-based issues, so I tried to adjust thinking I needed to use it in a healthier way. Okay. One night, a week before Christmas, I just had this gut feeling to look at his phone, and lo and behold, he had re-downloaded Snapchat. And guess who was the first on the list? His ex-girlfriend. They are both older than me. We argued, and he told me he didn't feel like he was in love, but that he did love me. I have a son, so we hung out on New Year's for his sake, but he also said he would date and see how things went.
So it's like an open relationship?
I don't know. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, from up until now, it sounded like they were in a full-blown relationship.
And it sounded like she was like...
she officiated
in
his
her
daughter's
especially
like
with
wedding.
the
50s and
Bought her a
60s.
horse.
Being
But now he has
involved.
Snapchat.
Not the TikTok ban, but like the Snapchat ban. When you hit a certain age, you got to get off that.
Yeah, dads. No dads on Snapchat,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Only Funkles.
Or moms. Yeah.
One night, a week before Christmas, I just had this gut feeling to look at his phone, and lo and behold, he had re-downloaded Snapchat, and guess who was the first on the list? His ex-girlfriend. They are both older than me. We argued. He told me he didn't feel like he was in love with me, but that he did love me. I have a son, so we hung out on New Year's Eve for his sake, but he also said we would date and see how things went.
So it's an open relationship.
Sounds like it.
I feel like there's nothing more painful than someone
Oh, yeah,
saying,
no, it is.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's ouch.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah.
New Year's, he went hunting, in quotations, but he would never send me pictures of the woods. I love to hunt, but couldn't go that weekend. The following week, I had to have him euthanize my 36-year-old horse. We cried together in each other's arms. Then the following week, one of his family members was found deceased, and I was there when officers came to notify him, and I made the calls to find him. The following Saturday, he went to leave for work, but turned around and asked for a hug. After he hugged me, he reached down and kissed me and said he loved me. He just didn't know what to do. Later that day, he came home, hooked up his boat, and left. He texted me later to say he was riding boats with a buddy and would be gone all weekend. I immediately knew and called him out until he admitted he was with her. When he got back, he was cold and told me to get the fuck out and to fuck off. The
Oh my
next day,
God.
I sent her screenshots of our I love yous and told her about our Saturday kiss.
I feel like there's a little bit of context maybe that was missing
I
from
think so too.
what happened between the
I
time
think
where
it's
they
clear
started
that
dating.
she also knew the
Yeah.
girl.
And that, but then like
Sounds like
between
it.
what happened when they started dating and like going on trips and officiating the wedding between the Snapchat, like something must have. I think we missed something.
I think it's like,
Son.
well, because so they know each other's dating history. Clearly, obviously,
Yeah, 'cause she
they've
knows
known
she's
each
been
other
cheated
for a
on
long
before.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that
but
this
it sounds
woman
like they have
who
a
was the ex.
partnership.
Well, no, I'm saying this woman who was the ex-girlfriend, and she saw that she was like at the top of his Snapchat or whatever. It's clear that she knew who she was as well.
Maybe they got in like a fight or something. I think there was like a little thing that she might have accidentally left out
I
that would
think so, too.
make it make sense, but something must have happened, I guess.
Maybe we'll get more context in the
Yeah.
rest of this. We spoke on the phone, and she told me they had been talking since before I officiated his daughter's wedding.
Whoa.
She knew details about my life, including my horse, my child, and more. He had even consulted her for Christmas shopping. He got home as we got off the phone, and said I was the one stirring the pot. I lit into him about lying, loaded 3 of our 4 dogs, a bag, and left. For 2 weeks, he begged me to bring back the dogs, and I did not.
Good.
I wound
Yeah.
up staying with the most giving friend for 10 months while I bought a new modular home. He insisted on storing my things in his insulated work shed. Golly, so kind. And my chicken stayed on the property his sister owned at her approval until I had fences. Okay, this diva has a farm. Fast forward, he stalked my socials for months, and in September, when I finally moved my belongings, I sent screenshots to her. He blocks me on everything except Instagram. Finally, the week before I moved my chickens, his woman went to the trail camera I had facing my chickens for security reasons, and sent a picture of her ugly hands with a ring on it.
Oh, she got engaged.
Oh, she went like
Okay,
this.
yeah.
Oh, to the chicken coop camera.
To the chicken coop camera. I
What
had
a bitch. That's some diabolical
That's
shit.
like really crazy.
That's a see you next Tuesday moment.
Yeah.
I had a friend ask him to address this since it wasn't his property or hers, and I had permission to keep my chickens there, and he told me to go fuck myself.
Not the chickens getting in the mix of this.
The chickens. I finally blocked him on Instagram, but he was still checking my stories, and I hope she sees this so she knows I had to be the one to make him stop. I'm finally in my home, hoping to settle. Lesson learned: boys lie even in their 50s.
Oh my God.
Do you know what's so
Okay, so they're in their 50s.
alarming to me
That's
with this whole
crazy.
story?
Yeah.
A 50-plus-year
On
old
Snapchat.
boomer man with an ego that's straight on Snapchat
On Snapchat.
and social platforms.
And his
Yeah.
new fiance having the balls to go up to her trail camera,
Where the chickens
going like
are.
this, like rubbing it in her face.
Also, like, how old are you? You're 50.
Thank God she had the camera with the chickens.
Also, I'm very sorry about your horse.
Yeah, me too. That's actually really heartbreaking.
I'm sorry about.
I'm sorry about the whole situation, but the horse is like, oh my God.
He sounds like a crazy person.
I'm sorry, girl. I wonder what state you live in. Oh, not what I expected.
Oh, that does make sense to me. It's Florida.
Yeah. Florida.
Florida.
One hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Hope you know the reference. I like knowing that people in their 50s are listening.
Yeah, me
and
too.
still going through it too.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it kind of just shows that heartbreak is really truly universal, and it doesn't matter what age you're at, you can still go through it.
It just like freaks me out that like men his age are still just like doing shit like that. Like, I don't know.
Any boomer on social platforms that's a man that is egotistical like this, like, has fucking issues.
There should be like age restrictions.
50
like,
on Snapchat is crazy.
There just can't be anything good coming from a 50-year-old on Snapchat.
I've talked to a few 50-year-olds on Snapchat. Maybe it's different in the gay world.
Well, we love you so much. Thank you for listening to our.
We do.
Was there something in my hand?
We appreciate you.
It was up.
I hope
Yeah.
you like your sweatsuit.
Yeah.
Yes, love you, girl.
Okay. Well, on that note,
Buckle up,
enjoy the ride.
And remember that.
boys. Lie.
Instead of 50-year-old men,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Seniors. Lie.
seniors.
Seniors. Okay, that's crazy. It's not seniors.
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie, y'all. Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.